I would describe that as energetic and very faith-filled, something of an evangelist. He loved God and he loved people. He was very supportive of Catholic education. One of the things that he did is build Bethany House out here, which was a retreat house for young people, adolescents and adults, to be used for retreat purposes and educational purposes, leadership training for youth and young adults. Well, Catholic education is not only education in the humanities, but also education in the faith. He was interested in people who were fully alive as human beings and as Christians. And opportunities for retreat and spiritual reflection were part of that component, or a component as part of that whole.
Is there a specific memory or a lesson from the bishop that has stayed with you?
Yes, his compassion for people that were suffering, whether it was a priest or other people he knew, someone was in a hospital or in a nursing home or even just a home for the aged, he would be very quietly visiting them without any fanfare, but he went out of his way to be concerned about people. I remember when the abuse scandal broke and we had to deal with family members or victims. He was genuinely concerned and went out of his way to do all he could to bring about healing. He was a good man, a holy man, and he was a priest, a real pastor with pastoral concerns. He cared about people, and he would reach out to them, he would call them to be the best kind of person they could be, you know, the best kind of Catholic or Christian that they could be.
And what do you think people should remember most about the bishop?
Just that he was a man of faith, you know, and a simple faith, but deep. You know, he was in some ways like St. Francis. He lived simply, he loved gardening, he made his own meals, he related on a very human level with anyone he met. And he was gregarious. He loved meeting people and engaging with them just as one human being to another. But for him, always as a priest.
And if you could say one thing to him now, what would that be?
Thank you for your life and for your example.
He was a man of incredible faith, and he didn't hide it or you know. He was upfront. You know, I'm a Catholic. I'm a believer, and I love the people I'm here to serve. And he had a great sense of humor, and he was so thoughtful of the people who worked with him. He was just kind, and he could get angry too, but like all of us, there were certain things that would, you know, tick him off, and but he he never beat on people. I'm not talking about a physical beating, but going after them. And he was a good man. He was a good man. And I met, he had one brother, and I met him, and I know now where he got all this. He got it at home because his brother had the same things. And they're just a wonderful family. And I enjoyed working with him. I was amazed. I grew up in the Cathedral Parish, downtown Lansing. And I never dreamt I would go back to my home parish to be the pastor there, and then to work in the chancery office with the bishop and the other officials of the diocese. That just didn't enter my mind. I didn't think I was, somebody who's going to be doing that. I enjoyed parish work, and I enjoyed my working with Bishop Mengeling, and then later with Bishop Boyer.
Earlier in our discussion, there was a comparison made that compared the bishop to Pope Francis in some ways, like with the simple life and things like that. Do you see that as well?
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, he would go out, and this is just an example, but he would go out and he would feed the animals. And there was a kind of a wild area behind his house, and so he fed the chipmunks and the squirrels and the possums and the skunks and the deer. He fed them all. And humorously, one day he left the door open when he went out to feed them, and the skunk got in the house. He was just kind to people. And as Monsignor Lunsford said, he was a man of deep faith. And, he built this building on this campus. I mean, he didn't personally build it, but he organized the process to get it going and paid for it with diocesan funds, of course. But I mean, it's got 100-person capacity over there. He wanted them to know the wonders of our Catholic faith, and to be good practicing Catholics, because it was for their salvation. So I was just always admired him, and he was a very, very smart man. He studied in various places. He got his doctorate in Rome, and we were talking earlier. He was a student in Rome during the Second Vatican Council, and that was just a great highlight of his life, to be there when that historic event was happening. So anyway, yeah, he was a kind man. He was concerned about you, and I experienced that myself. He would sit down and meet. I can't think of anything specific, but he would sit down and meet with anybody. They got an issue, he'll listen to them, he'll hear them out, he'll give his opinion if that's what's needed, and he just had this ability to relate to people. And generally people liked him when they met him. He's got this big title, and he's got this huge responsibility, and but he wasn't too big that he couldn't sit down with Joe Average or Genevieve Average and chat with him, or somebody less than average. I just never dreamt I would be working with him, and he invited me to do that, and you know, I was floored when he did that. I just never expected that, and I thank God for that experience, because I learned how to be a better priest from the way he lived his life.